Combining Lovable and Supabase allows you to create real-world apps in record time. Today, I wanted to explore how we can build a simple AI agent app that users can talk to, obtains their information, stores them securely, and gives smart suggestions. I'll also share some security tips along the way, so let's dive right in. So first, we're gonna have to decide what kind of AI agents we want to build. For today, I want to build a fitness AI agent, something that can help me to achieve a certain fitness goal, something like gaining muscle or losing weight or in health in general. So let's start out with that. I've actually created a Supabase project already called Fitness Agent. It's a blank project, so nothing there yet. But we can start by connecting Lovable to a Supabase project before we give the initial prompt. So this is going to create a project that is pre-configured with Supabase. And let's say something like, I want to create a conversational chat AI agent that will help the user achieve their fitness goals. The initial chat should ask the user what their fitness goal is, and it should ask a few follow-up questions to obtain more information that's required to assist the user achieve that goal. And at the end, it should provide a nice plan to achieve that goal. It shouldn't use a voice chat, but instead it should be a text-based chat application. So hopefully this is clear enough. I told it that I want to create a conversational chat AI agent to achieve their fitness goals. Yeah, I think this is good. Let's wait and see what Lovable can cook for us. So it looks like it's done with the initial iteration. Have a nice chat. It's asking some questions to the user. Let's see. I want to build muscle. And then I'm guessing it's not connected to OpenAI or anything. Or at least I haven't provided any API key, so it shouldn't be connected. But it's giving me some plausible response. Great choice. Now, what's your current fitness experience level? What if I say something ridiculous like, I don't know, cats? Excellent. How many days per week? Asking sequences of questions. That's predefined, hard-coded, I think. Make sure that chat is properly using a large language model powered by OpenAI. I can provide the OpenAI API key. What else do we need? I guess that's a good step. Yeah, let's just go with that. We can keep it incremental. Okay, so I'm just gonna provide a OpenAI API key. I am in the API key generation page of OpenAI. I'm just gonna create a key called fitness agent. Now, this key is very important. You shouldn't expose it to public like this. The reason why I'm exposing it because I'm gonna be deleting it right after I record this video. But you should never paste it into your chat window. You should always wait for this add API key window or button to appear and paste it in there, which will store the key nice and securely as a Supabase edge function secret so that nobody else can access it. Okay, so now that I've given it the API key, it's constructing the Supabase edge function to power the chat using large language model. Oh, I didn't realize this header up here. Beautiful. Okay, it seems like it is done constructing the edge function. So now the chat should be powered by proper AI. So hello, I'm your fitness coach. I want to build muscle. Okay, that wasn't too bad, but if you remember, if you have used ChatGPT before, you notice the difference, right? As soon as you send the chat, ChatGPT starts responding in real time, writing word by word. And that didn't happen right there. Instead, what happened was it was waiting for the entire chunk to load. And then the entire chunk was displayed all at once. But we can do better here. We can implement something similar to what ChatGPT does, where everything is streamed in real time. And that is called server sent events. We can ask Lovable to configure server sent events on edge functions. And there's also a special package that enables server sent events on the browser called sse.js. Let's ask Lovable to do that. Currently, the response is not displayed until all the message is done loading, which is not a great user experience. Instead, use ssc.js on the front end and set up proper SSE on the edge functions so that users can stream the response in real time. Hopefully this does it. I played with Lovable and tried to make it work with SSE. It didn't quite do the job until I specifically told it to use ssc.js package. So that seems to be the magic keyword here. Hopefully that does the trick and we can enjoy the real-time streaming of the messages. But yeah, let's wait for Lovable to do its thing. Let's try it out. So build muscle. Oh, I misspelled muscle there. But okay, now it's just broken. It seems like it's broken. Let's go check out if there's something wrong with the edge functions. So I'm gonna check out the logs of edge functions. And yeah, we do see an error. Stream controller cannot close. No idea what the error is, but Lovable has access to the logs, so we can just ask something like, it seems like there's an error happening on the edge functions when we send the chat. So digest the error and make sure it is fixed. And once that error is sorted out and we have some real-time streaming, then we can get into refining the system prompts, which we can actually view from the source code. So as we send the chats to the AI agent, I'm looking at the Supabase edge function, so we can go drill down into Supabase functions, fitness chat, and index.js or TS. We can view the prompts that the system is sending to OpenAI in the background. So on top of what the user has entered, it sends all these chunks over to OpenAI API. It's saying stuff like you are a fit plan AI, an expert personal fitness coach and nutritionist. So basically, it's giving it a persona and some more information. So basically, it's providing some guardrails on what kind of content, what kind of response it should come back with. And then it's also adding the user goals in the middle of the prompt. So this is how these AI agents, at least more or less, are constructed. You have a set of system prompts, and then you may or may not throw in some user responses within there, and you get a certain response back from the large language model. Right now, it's a pretty simple case, but we can make some conditional system prompts. You know, if the user is asking for this type of thing, then use this system prompts, or else, or something like that. There's a lot of stuff that you can tweak with these, but let's go back and let's check if we have got some real-time message streaming. Okay, so build muscle. It looks like now I've added comprehensive logging to help diagnose the issue. I see the issue. The front end is using the new direct functional URL, but the edge function is still set up to handle the old URL pattern. Let me check the actual network requests more carefully. At least it looks like it's still broken. This is the old error, I think. So it's not getting any response, right? Let's see. So it's sending something to OpenAI. So there's something going on. Okay, I guess there's the same error. It seems like on the server side there's still the same error. Make sure it's properly fixed. I should also add dig into edge functions logs and make sure it's properly fixed. Yeah, let's come back in a few minutes. Okay, it is done doing its thing, it seems like. So let's come back and say build muscle. And it looks like it's not. Yeah, that definitely didn't do real-time streaming. So at this point, I don't know. Let's see. At least it's not airing out. So make sure that the browser properly uses sse.js and the edge function uses or implements server-send events properly so that the response from the AI can be streamed and displayed in real time on the UI. Also, there's some weird UI glitch going on the front end where when the response from the AI comes back, the submitted response of the user gets replaced with the response of the AI. So make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, let's wait for another few minutes. Yeah, this is part of the process of vibe coding. Let's wait for another few minutes. Okay, so let's try it one last time. Build muscle. And so at least it's streaming the response. It has that weird bug where the user response is wiped out by the AI response, but at least streaming works. So yeah, let's pat ourselves on the back. By default, Lovable and every other large language model or AI tool that I try to use will try to not use sse.js. It's gonna try to do its own implementation, but the keyword here is to try to ask it to use sse.js. By default, the browser doesn't support post request to an SSE endpoint, but sse.js can implement that part that's missing in the browser, and we got here. Now let's just get rid of this bug, hopefully, in a single prompt. I noticed that when we get a response back from the AI, the submission of the user within the chat window is also overwritten by the response from the AI. So make sure that the response from the AI is displayed and the user response is retained untouched. You would think that's easy, right? But yeah, let's see. But so from here on, I think we can try to essentially refine this system prompt. Right now, it's kind of a static. You have the user's goal. Wonder if it's able to like take in the follow-up messages and stuff. Also, I've noticed that every, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds or so, it displays this, hello, your personal fitness coach, this initial message. So we should probably get rid of that as well. Fix the ID collision. Okay, that seems plausible. Also, another thing that I want to do is, right now I believe none of these responses are saved anywhere, but we should save it on the database, and maybe that kind of helps mitigate some of these errors. But so I'm just going to start with that actually. Now make sure each response is saved on the Supabase database. And for authentication, use anonymous authentication so that the user doesn't have to enter email address or anything. And as soon as they land on the page, if the user is not signed in already, signed in using anonymous auth. If they are signed in, just proceed and actually load the past conversation and resume from there. So what anonymous authentication is it's a mechanism to sign in the user silently behind the scenes. Normally, when users sign in or sign up, they provide some kind of credential. Either it's a Google account, GitHub account, email password, whatever it is. Anonymous sign-in provides a access token behind the scenes without user providing the credential. And this is actually a totally secure way of accessing the database. It's just the only issue is if the user provides their email address and password, for example, they can take that anyway. They can open the same website on a smartphone, different laptop, and they can sign in using the same credential, and they can view the same conversation history in this case. Whereas anonymous auth, if you open an app on the phone and you're signed in anonymously and you take that to your laptop or something, it's considered a two separate session, two separate conversation threads. So that's the benefit of asking the user for their credentials. But actually, anonymous auth is great for presenting the value of your app to your users as soon as possible. In this case, I want the user to just land on this website and start talking to AI instead of having to worry about their email addresses and stuff. So that's what I'm gonna do. And let's see, it looks like Lovable came back with some table. So we have some conversation table, messages table, and conversation states table. Sure, create a table for sorting conversation state. Stage, welcome. Sure, I'll leave it up to you, Lovable. Users can view their own conversation. So obviously I know role security policies, and by reading this, I can understand that it's secure. But some of you that are watching this might not know how to tell a good role security policy versus unsecure role security policies. And if you want to be 100% sure, you kind of have to know SQL. But I think you can totally get by having a deep conversation with large language model. For example, if you're unsure, you can copy and paste this and talk to a different AI model, maybe O3 or some more smart models out there, and make sure that it's nice and secure. Also, later on, I'll show you a little trick that you can do within your Supabase dashboard to make sure your role security policies are working as intended. But yeah, for now, it looks great. The conversation is locked in. The conversation states table is locked in. The messages table is locked in. It looks great. So I'm just gonna hit apply changes, and this is gonna create the table on our Supabase project. So by default, anonymous authentication is disabled. So we have to go into Supabase auth, sign-in providers, and go to allow anonymous sign-ins and hit save. So this is gonna add anonymous sign-in, and on an actual production application, you are recommended to enabling reCAPTCHA, which prevents bots from creating a bunch of fake anonymous authenticated users. But I'm just gonna skip that for now, but you should definitely do that if you're taking your app to production. Okay, it looks like it's done. Let's see, I want to build muscle. Great, it's streaming the response. Ideally, that loading thing disappears right away, but yeah, that's fine. And that bug is gone. The user's submission is properly retained. Awesome goal, building muscle is a fantastic way of improving your strength, blah, 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 blah. Can you tell me about your current fitness experience? Are you a beginner, intermediate, advanced? Okay, sure. I've been to the gym a few times, but recently I'm too lazy to go to gyms. I do have a dumbbell at home, which I lift occasionally, but that's kind of it. I also I play tennis, but other than that, that's pretty much my only exercise routines these days. Let's hit that, and thanks for sharing that. Sounds great, blah, blah, blah. Next, let's talk about your timeline. Okay, let's see where this takes. So I'm just gonna keep on responding timeline. How long do you want? Sooner the better, but I can give it a few months. Great, now let's discuss availability. I can work out a few days a week. Okay, final details. To create a personalized plan, do I have any specific preference, limitations, injuries, types of exercise? Not really. I am allergic to avocado, but other than that, no restrictions, no injuries whatsoever. Let's see if it can come up with a nice plan. Great, thanks for sharing the information. Wow, it's still going. I am actually impressed. this was a nice sequence. It was asking all the right questions, and then the response was nice and concise until the final response, which is a nice detailed plan for me to execute. So weekly schedules, work out 3 to 4 days a week. I don't know why it added an extra day, but that's all right. Rest days, so pretty specific, right? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, optionally Saturday, fine. And then key exercise with my dumbbell, try to focus on compound movements, muscle groups. So dumbbell bench press, bend over, dumbbell rows. So specific types of exercise, number of reps. Pretty good. Day 2, day 3. So it has, all the dates covered, nutrition tips, protein intake, complex carbs. Wow. Getting started tips. Yeah. This is actually great. I wonder what kind of system prompt Lovable created for me. It's the same thing, isn't it? It's nothing special, but it's able to. So depending on the current stage, well, I feel like OpenAI is way more powerful than I expected. And this is one of the cheaper models, right? It's not even the nice model. Where is the model? Which OpenAI model is it using? Right here. Yeah, GPT-4o Mini. Okay. That was actually nice. Yeah, keep the response concise but informative. When asking questions, provide clear options. For the final plan, include weekly schedule, key exercises. Wow. Yeah, impressed. So Lovable was able to construct this really helpful system prompt with my not so great guidance. And just like that, we have a functioning AI agent that can construct a nice workout plan for me. And this is a great starting point. I'm not gonna go this far, but maybe one potential way of expanding this is maybe adding Google login. And what that unlocks is by obtaining the Google access token after the user performs the Google login, you can take that and maybe manipulate users' calendar so you can have the AI agent input all these exercise on Monday, Wednesday, Friday on certain times, write all these exercise lists in the description of the calendar event. So that way the users don't have to come back to this app to view their exercise schedule. It's all right in their Google Calendar or something like that. Now that we have this nice looking app, I just want to wrap it up with making sure rollable security is doing its thing. So one, like I mentioned earlier, having more conversation. If you're not familiar with SQL, having more conversation with large language models, not necessarily within Lovable. You can talk with Lovable agent as well. By the way, Lovable generally does a really good job of securing your database. It writes really good rollable security policies, but sometimes us humans could push Lovable or any kind of large language models in its corner. If some certain data isn't loading and you think it should be loading, you just keep on saying, hey, this should load, nothing is displaying. And then after you do that a few times, Lovable might just say, okay, I'm just gonna open up the database access to everything and make it work that way. And at that point, it's not to blame the large language model or certain tool or anything. It's more like, human just being forceful. You always want to make sure that rollable security policies are properly set. And one way to ensure that is you can go into your table editor and let's view the messages table, for example. Now, all these messages are tied to a single user. I know that because I can look at the user ID column and it's all this C1F person, whoever that is. Right? Now what I can do here is I can go over here, press this button. So right now it's accessing this database, this table, through a Postgres role, which is like an admin role, a super user role that has permission to access everything. We can change this to, for example, Anon role, which can simulate a non-signed in user. Remember, we set proper rollable security policies, and we also added Supabase authentication through anonymous auth. So if you're not signed in, you shouldn't be able to view any data. And that's what's happening right here. A non-signed in user is not able to view any data. We can also simulate authenticated role. In authenticated role, we can impersonate a certain user. So if I impersonate the C1F user, we see all the data, which is great, which is expected. But what if we want to make sure other users do not see his data or his or her data? We can impersonate this 2C4 user, and as expected, they are not seeing the messages table. And the same goes for the conversations table, hopefully. So this user is seeing this conversation because it belongs to them. But if I go back to the C1F user, they see their own conversation. And if I bring it back to Postgres, we can see all the conversation that exists within this table. So this user impersonation feature is great to make sure your rollable security policy is working correctly and your data is nice and secure. That was how you can build a nice AI agent app using Lovable, Supabase, and OpenAI. I hope you learned a thing or two, and I'll see you around in the next Supabase video.